Hey everyone, welcome back to the JavaScript course. So in this video, we'll be exploring about JavaScript functions. And if you find this interesting, let's get started right away. So in this video, we'll be exploring about JavaScript functions. So inside my VS Code, I've opened up my index.html file, style.css file, as well as my script.js file. So there is some basic boilerplate code inside my index.html file, and there is some basic styling inside the style.css file, and a basic console.log message inside my script file. Okay, so now let's start understanding about the JavaScript function. Okay, so what is a JavaScript function? So a JavaScript function is essentially a piece of code that does a particular task. Okay, so a JavaScript function does only something when we invoke it, that is when we actually call it. Okay, so firstly let us understand about the syntax of a JavaScript function so everything becomes easier. Okay, so let us first write the syntax of a JavaScript function. So the first thing is we need to include the function variable, the function name. So function, and the second one is we need to give this function a particular name. So let's say we give a show message. Okay, and then we just write the parentheses, and then we open up our curly braces. So essentially from line 5 to line 7, so we are initializing a function that is function show message. This is the function keyword, and then we have the name show message, and then over here whatever we write over here is the block of code that we need to execute whenever the show message function is called, right? And show message only works, it only executes whenever it is invoked inside the script file. So let us firstly display a message. So console.log, let's give a message which says this function was called. Okay, so now let us check our console and see what exactly is happening. Okay, we are seeing nothing in the console. Why is that happening? Right, because we are just defining and declaring the function over here. We are not we are not invoking this particular function, that is show message. So until we do not invoke it, it is not gonna give us the console.log or whatever is there inside that function block. So we are gonna say show message, and this is the way we invoke that particular function. So on line number 9, we are invoking that function, and it is gonna get executed, and we're gonna see the console.log message inside our console. So let's give that a try. Yeah, so as you can see, this function was called, right? So it is working absolutely fine. So this is the way pretty much a JavaScript function works, right? So firstly we define it, and we also declare it over here. We invoke it over here at the bottom part, and this is essentially how it works. And yeah, so pretty much functions can be used like when the user presses on particular button, we need to show or we need to execute something, or it can also be used when it is automatically called in the JavaScript file, as in this example. So now let's solve some 3 to 4 questions that is inside of function so that we can get a clear inside the concept. So first one is, let's say we need to find the square of a number. Okay, let's write that out first. So find square of the number, and let's say second we need to find the area of the rectangle. I think it's pretty much similar to the first one. And let's say the third one is to find the perimeter and the area of a circle. Alright, so first let us define the function that is for the first one. Let's say the square of a number. So let's say function, let's say find square, and over here inside the parentheses we can pass if there are any parameters. So let's take the parameter over here that is inside our find square. Let's take a number as a parameter, and let's open up our braces. So we need to find the square of the number, right? So let us first initialize the result. So const result equals to, so this number is coming as parameter, so let's access that number and multiply with itself. So that's essentially we are finding the square. So first let's just basically console.log the result. So pretty much we have written the code for the square of the number. Okay, so let us invoke the function at the bottom. So find square. So in the previous function that is on line number 9, we didn't pass any value, right? Any parameter, because this function is taking a parameter now inside on line number 16. We need to pass any value, right? If you don't pass a value, it's going to give us error. Okay, let's check that out first. Okay, it's going to give not a number because we need to pass that pass at least any value. So let's say we pass number 2. Okay, so now 2 is taken as parameter over here, that is number, and over here const result equals to number star number. It's going to be 2 star 2, it's going to be 4. So when we log the result, we should get 4 as the result. So let's check that out. Yeah, so as you can see, we are getting 4 in the console. So that's the way this entire function works. So now let us solve the next question, that is the area of the rectangle. So let's write again a function. Let's say find area of rectangle, and again we're going to pass over here the, let's say we need the length and breadth. Okay, so let's access the length and the breadth, which is going to come from the parameters that we pass while invoking this particular function. Okay, so again let us access the result. So const result equals to, it's going to be length star breadth, that's going to be the area of the rectangle, or length star breadth. All right, let's console.log the result. Okay, yeah, so absolutely fine. Let us firstly invoke it over here. Let's pass 5 and 6. So the output is going to be 30. That is 5 is considered as length and 6 is taken as parameter, which goes to the breadth. And inside our result container, that is a variable, we are going to multiply the value and store it inside of it, and then we are console.logging the particular result. So it should be 30 in the console. Yeah, so there you go, we are getting 30 in the console. So now let's do the next one and last one. So that is the parameter and area. So let's say function find area of circle. So this is going to take the radius. Okay, so let's say const perimeter equals to, we're going to access the math which is there inside JavaScript itself. So math.py. So perimeter is going to be, I think, 2 pi r, right? So 2 into pi value into the radius, whatever we are getting from the parameter, right? So that was it about the perimeter. So let us initialize the next one, that is const area. So const area is going to be 2 pi, pi r square, right? So it's going to be math dot pi into radius star radius. Okay, so let us pretty much console.log the required values. So perimeter, and then again console.log of area. Okay, so now let us save the file, and then over here let us pretty much call that particular function. So find area of circle, and let's say we pass 5 as the radius for that particular circle. Let's see the output. Okay, yeah, so pretty much we are getting 31 and then 78, that is pi r square and then 2 pi r. So that's the way we have calculated all the 3 function values, right? So there is of course another way of defining the function. So let's initialize it to a value. So let's say var result equals to, let's say get square of, let's pass a random value over here, let's say 8. Okay, and we are going to console.log the result first, and we need to declare, we need to define the get square function. Okay, so let's go do that over here. So const get square equals to, okay, instead of writing const, let's write function get square equals to, let's take in that parameter, that is number, and we're pretty much going to use return, and we're going to say return num star num. Okay, so in the first function, that is from line 16 to 19, we had just initialized a const variable, and then we had console.log that particular result. Okay, so whereas in line number 43 we are trying to do it in a new way, That is, we are initializing this function to a new variable, and then we are console.logging the result. But inside the function, we are just returning whatever the value is, that is from that particular parameter. We are multiplying it with that parameter itself. So it's going to give us 64 inside the console.log. Okay, so let's save the file and then check it out once. Yeah, so there you go, we're getting 64. So that's another way of defining the function and then getting the result. That is by equating a particular function to a variable and then accessing that variable. So essentially 64 is stored inside of result. Okay, or else we can also do it in this way. And another type of function is the arrow function that we can use for shorter syntax and easy code writing. So that's the reason most of them use arrow function instead of the normal function, which is this one. Okay, I think that's it about the basics about functions. I think we have explored about all the different kinds of functions, and we have solved these 3 basic questions, okay, to understand the basics of functions. I think that's it for this video. Let's see you in the next video, and then thank you for watching.